more people in. Am I recording? Yep, recording is going. So I'm a very punctual lady. I'm going to kick us right off at 9. I think we'll probably go about 40 minutes today, and then there'll be some time for question or conversation if we want to do that. If not, we can all grab another coffee and continue waking up this morning. So welcome to our 3-day training. I keep bouncing around on the name for this. I like to see it as what every small business owner, Canadian small business owner, especially us independents, need to know about marketing. Hi, Tina. Hello, everybody. I see faces popping on. I am a marketing coach and consultant that works exclusively with Canadian independent businesses, and Jade and I were just talking about it. The big overview is such an important piece that we need to know to be able to make our businesses work and to grow, but marketing is a profession in and of itself. And independent business development is very different from corporate or organizational business development. So that's going to be a big part of what we're going to talk about over the next 3 days. My end goal is that I want no more random acts of marketing. This is a trap most of us get caught in, either at the beginning stage where we're validating our product or service, or once we've validated it and we're trying to grow and now we're trying to have that steady cash flow. Random acts of marketing is super common. It is one of the biggest challenges that I see small businesses face. And my goal with these 3 sets of trainings is that we are going to put you in a place that you will not get caught in that trap anymore. And you're going to know how to use marketing effectively to grow your business. There are 130,000 new small businesses created yearly in Canada, but we're seeing a success rate of only about 35% beyond the first 5 years. There is a lot of people willing to take the risk and willing to take on all of the work that comes with running a business, but we're still seeing a really large portion of us not being able to make it work. I work exclusively with small businesses. I have worked with over 200, and I know it is not because we're not putting in the effort. In fact, we have the stats on it. The Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses tracks that on average, we're working at least 54 hours per week. I know my mom is a small business owner. I am a small business owner. My friends are small business owners. My peers are small business owners. We are committed and dedicated to making this work, and yet we still have this huge failure rate. So when I start looking at this, and I have spent at least the last 6 years diving into this, I wanted to figure out why. What is happening and what can we do about it? Turns out a lot of it has to do with marketing. Marketing is such a crucial piece, is such a crucial skill that we need, but at the same time, we don't have the budget to go out and hire somebody to come in and do our marketing. And we don't have the time to learn a whole new profession and a whole new skill set. So the key pieces around marketing that are contributing to this failure rate is that we have a lack of real market demand, which is poor market fit. That's a bit of marketing jargon. This is what we're going to go in today, and I'm going to show you how to make sure you do get market fit. The second one is ineffective marketing. We're not reaching or converting customers, and that means we don't have the cash flow. We don't have the ability to develop our products because we need to develop them within the market. And the way we're going to combat that, I'm going to show you what effective marketing looks like for us independent Canadian small business owners. And then the third one is the one that we all have in the back of our head that we're always trying to make sure we're cognitive of. It's that burnout. When we are exhausting ourselves because we have to constantly push the business forward, we are developing the products and services, we are doing the admin, we are doing the bookkeeping, hopefully. We're trying to do the marketing. It's go, 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 go. We end up exhausted and burnt out. We can do that for a while. Part of that initial hustle is really, really fun. But eventually we know if we want our lives back, we need to figure something out, and we know it's systems. The problem is that most of the systems you are going to be exposed to, especially for marketing, are built for a different type of business than ours. So I am going to give you the marketing system that we need as independent small businesses who are either solopreneurs or you're working with a small team where you do not have somebody highly skilled in marketing. This is the most common scenario I find. And I started out 6 years ago doing social media for small businesses, but even as I scaled up, even as I started helping their teams and I'm working with nonprofits, it was still this lack of a system specifically built for us that was the problem. So even when you have somebody who does marketing and does it well or does a part of marketing, which we're going to talk about today, you still need the system, and that's what I'm going to show you. So over our next 3 days together, session one, which is Monday, first thing, 9 o'clock Monday morning. Thank you all for being here with me, right, bright and early. We're going to talk about knowing your business and knowing your market. And this is going to help us, I don't want to say neutralize, but it's going to give us the skills and the mindset we need to tackle that first challenge, which is a lack of market fit and market demand. Tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. We're going to go into how market confidence is built. And that is the approach we want to take with our businesses, depending on where we are in our business development and specialized to us as independent Canadian small businesses. We're in a very different place operationally. We have different strengths to lean into. We have different resource challenges that we want to work around. So that's what we're going to talk about on Tuesday. And then the last day on Wednesday, we're going to talk about building your marketing stack. That is the system you want to build for your business. It is a 4-part system. It's built piece by piece, and I'm going to show you how to build it piece by piece. The beautiful thing about the work that I've been able to do is I've been able to take my professional marketing background and I've been able to focus on independent Canadian small businesses, and I've been able to build what we need in marketing without like all of the other stuff, because there's so much out there. Marketing is a really beautiful profession. I absolutely love it. But just like I have another background in culinary, just like we don't need to know everything about classical French cuisine to be able to cook at home every night, we do not need to know everything about marketing to be able to help it work for our business. We just need to know what we need to know, which is what I am going to give you over the next 3 days. We're going to talk about 3 main frameworks. The first one is going to be our focus for today. Some of you have been exposed to this framework before. This is what we're going to get into today. This is your business market fit. I'm going to really explain to you from a marketing point of view and a business development point of view why this is crucial. 42% of startups fail because they do not find product market fit. And the first step to finding that is going to be building your business market fit. There's 3 types of businesses most of us are going to qualify into, and that's what we're going to dig into today. Tuesday, I'm going to share with you my market confidence pyramid. This is the concept that a lot of the times we get trapped in random acts of marketing because we're focused on the skills. We're focused on the very tip of this pyramid, and our business does not have the foundation of our strategy and our systems. I have some really good stories around this one. It's super, super common, and I'm going to help you understand why if you want to build a business, you're also going to need to be a systems builder. It's going to be the key point of this. I am going to have a couple of expressions for you. The one for this is that sales are not going to build your business. Systems are going to build your business. It's the truth of whether we're going to be a jobbyist or we're going to be a small business owner. Both are viable. We just want to make them with we want to make that choice with a conscious intention. And on Wednesday, I'm going to introduce you to my marketing stack. This is going to be based on which type of business you are, which we're going to go through today. And you're going to see for everyday experience and expertise businesses, each one gets a different block in their stack, depending on the type of business they are. And that helps to create business market fit for you. If you're an expertise style business and you're marketing yourself like an everyday business, there's going to be an incongruence, and this happens quite often. So for our marketing stack on Wednesday, we're going to go through your brand, your content, your funnel, and your go-to-market. Some of you have been working with me for a while, or you've been in my trainings. You're going to notice a lot of this. What you're going to see here over the next 3 days is the big picture of it. You're going to see what it looks like from a really high-level view, and you're going to start to understand how all of these interplay to help grow and establish your business. This is me. So now that we've done the introduction to what we're going to get into, which I'm really excited, this is like talking shop. Jade and I were getting into this before we started the meeting. I am a marketing coach and consultant for independent small businesses exclusively. I've put that in the sand. At first, I was like, I can help, but as independents, we have a whole different context that we're working with, and we provide so much culture and so much connection in our communities that's where my heart is. So I have been at this for over 6 years now. It's crazy how fast it goes. And I have worked with over 200 small businesses and small business owners, and it has been quite the journey. I have worked with B2B, B2C, product-based, service-based, online, brick and mortar. I've worked with them all, and these type of frameworks apply to all of them because they're based on marketing principles and they're based on the reality of our types of businesses. So that's me. And now let's get into session 1. We are going to talk all about market fit, and this is one of those places where, as a marketer and someone whose mind comes at everything from a marketing perspective, I see it very differently from the average small business owner. What we really want to understand is that we need to know our business and we need to know our market. Our job as a business owner is not just to make good products or services. There is a level of awareness we need to have around the bigger context that we're operating in. That's what empowers us and enables us to actually build our business and establish our business. So for today's focus, we're going to first identify the business type you have and the job that you do. This is a really fun marketing framework called Jobs to Be Done, and I've applied it to us. You're going to clarify the problem that you solve because you are not selling a product, you are solving a problem. That is the reality that every single one of us do. And until we can step into that mindset, it will be very hard to find people who want to buy our product or service because we're trying to push something that doesn't have a place in their brain. They don't understand, it doesn't resonate for them. And this is going to help you set the foundation for strategic and effective marketing. Because you're not selling a product, you're solving a problem. When we first create something, we're really hyper-focused. Michael Gerber from the E-Myth talks about being the technician. We are really hyper-focused in a really beautiful way. We're very passionate about whatever our product or our service is, and that is our focus as the business owner. If you want to start using marketing, you need to take off your business owner hat and you need to put your CMO hat on, your Chief Marketing Officer hat. And every marketer knows that we are not solving a product. We are not selling a product. We are solving a problem for people. That is the buy-in we need to create, and we need to do the cognitive work of finding what problem it is that we're solving. This is quite often when you talk to people who, especially people who are in the start stage of business, one of the first mistakes we make is that, oh, I can help so many people. I can help, and we list a long list, and it's true. But if we want to build a business off of it, we have to get narrow and clear and decide which specific problem we are going to apply our skill set, our service, or our product to, because that is how a business is built, is by solving a specific problem. So focus on the problem you solve. What you offer is secondary. I am known for saying you do not sell the bridge. The bridge is our product or service that takes people from where they are to where they are after they purchase or experience with us. That's the bridge. That is what we know and what we see. We do not need to talk about it. We barely even need to acknowledge it. We need to put that as the secondary focus. Customers are going to hire us for a solution. We're going to get into this deeper, but the concept is that your industry or your community that you're trying to connect to as your market, they're out there living their lives just like we are. And in the back of their mind, they're accumulating jobs that need to be done in their world. Oh, I need to make sure I do this. Oh, I really need to get this handled. Those are jobs to be done. And they are looking at businesses and people they can purchase from as potential solutions for those jobs. So that's really what we need to aim to do as the marketers in our companies. We need to have clear problem definition. It will improve our marketing because clarity on our part means that the market can be clear on their part. If we are not clear, they are not clear. And anybody who's trying to make a decision to invest money needs to have clarity. Confusion does not sell. So if we have confusion on our side, that's going to muddy everything that we're putting out. And it means that our audience is going to sense that confusion and that muddiness. 42% of startups fail due to lack of product market fit. This is where you, and I encounter this a lot with people I work with, where they know their product or service is really good. This is why I love working with independent small businesses. We really care. We really go for quality. If our name is on it and it's something we're trying to build a livelihood out of, we're not going to like half I'm not going to swear. We're not going to half go at it. We're going to make sure that we really have something we're proud to put out. So it's almost never a lack of the quality of the product or service. The concept that happens is that we have something really, really good, but the market does not see where it's a fit for them. And we also don't see where it's a fit. So that product market fit is what actually causes most of us to be out to fail and usually to give up, go find a job or go try something else. The other piece with this is that as independent business owners, we will develop our product and our service. Anybody who thinks that they're going to go into it and be like, yeah, fully done. This is what I'm selling for forevermore. It's not how it works. When we get feedback, when we work with people, when we know how things land, then we adjust our product and our service, and then we get even stronger product market fit. But if we cannot bring people in to sell to engage with, to get feedback from, we're not able to get the data we need to further adjust that product so we have a stronger market fit. So market fit matters because of that huge impact it has on the amount of small businesses that are going to fail. It's almost 50%. It is the dominant conversation that happens when you're talking to economic developers or anybody that works with small businesses. They know that it's this lack of market fit that causes most of the struggle at the start, or even when you're trying to scale. So one of the things that happens when we are a start stage business and we have something we want to sell, but we haven't gotten enough people in to for sure say, this is what I sell and this is who I sell it to and this is how I sell it. That's the start stage where you're really focused on validating. You need to make sure people want your product. Once we get through that, it's usually about year 3 to 5. Then we end up into a stabilized stage where we're like, okay, I know what I sell. I know who's going to buy it. And I know generally how I'm going to sell it. Then we want to be able to fill up a pipeline. So we want to be able to stabilize our cash flow. Both of these need clarity. In the start stage, usually intuitively, we show up having conversations and just unconsciously working to create market fit with the people in front of us. But then when we try to transfer that to something like using social media marketing or email marketing, we don't know what it was consciously we were doing that was working. So it applies to both of us in both stages. Again, great products fail. And this part gets me upset because I am a advocate for local consumerism. And when I see incredible businesses that have incredible products or services and they still end up failing, that hurts me because I know our communities can benefit from this. And I know these business owners were willing to pour themselves into this and genuinely stood behind what they did. But it was the lack of marketing that caused them to fail. That's one of the reasons I do what I do. So real alignment between your business and your market is what's going to help drive success. There's multiple layers to this where product market fit is the end result. When you've built enough feedback and data and intuitive knowledge by working with people that you want to work with, your product will get better and better and better. You'll refine it. It'll become something you didn't even know it was going to become. It's a really cool, creative process to be in business and to keep refining things. If you do not have the chance to interact with your market, if you don't have enough people from your industry or your community engaging with you to get that feedback, you won't be able to get to that point. So first we need to figure out, how do we get the market to see us as a viable option so that we can build up this knowledge? And it's not about how good your product is. It's about how clearly your market sees the problem you're solving. So you're on your side. We're building our businesses. We know we have this incredible product or service, and we know we want the pipeline. We know we want the cash to flow. And our industry or our community, they're out there living their lives, just noting as they go the jobs they have in their lives that need to be done and the problems behind those jobs not being done. And we are able to connect with them when we can make them clearly see the problem that we can solve with our product or service. And to do that, we get into our first framework. So this is going to create your business category and your market fit. In marketing terms, this is called your positioning. 3 main types of businesses cover most of what us independent Canadian small businesses fall into. We can be an everyday business, which is a consumer staple. We can be an experience business, which is a consumer discretionary. And we can be an expertise style business, which is professional services. You will, and this is usually what happens. We will see, oh, but I'm a bit of this, I'm a bit of this, I'm a bit of this. That is your lack of clarity coming to the forefront. And if you are not clear, your market is not clear. They are not getting communication that makes it clear to them what kind of business you are. These buckets are when people are moving through their lives, and this includes B2B and B2C, they are allocating in their minds the type of problems they have to solve. Some will be an everyday problem. I need to get something reliably. Something I use consistently, I need to be able to source reliably. That is an everyday problem. An experience problem is, oh, I really want to do things that make me feel more like myself, more like who I want to be, more like I'm living the life I want to live. They're seeking an experience type of situation. Expertise is there's something I really need help with. I need to fix this or I need to get better at this, and I don't know how to figure it out myself. I need an expert. I'm looking for someone. I have this job is an expertise type of job. When we are not clear, they cannot hire us. Your marketing is like your resume that you put out into your community or your industry saying, I am a really great candidate for an expertise style job. Do you have an expertise style job? This is who I am. I am exactly what you need for that kind of job. If you are instead putting out marketing, like the random acts of marketing, worst case scenario, you're all over all of these different categories. Often we end up in experience type of marketing where we're trying to go lifestyle and values. And that will not work if you are trying to be hired as an expert. I have a specific story around that. So this is the first level of fit we create when we get clear on which business category we fall in and which job in the lives of our consumers we fall in, then we're able to create a business market fit. And that improves our odds of having enough people come towards us that we can keep refining our products and services. And as a business owner, your job is to take in all of that feedback. That feedback is gold. We start with a core product or service that we want to make, or we have what we already have. The feedback and the reiteration and the constant evolution of it is what keeps our product market fit really strong. Once we understand this on the last day, I want you to understand where we're going to head with this. Today, we're going to narrow in on these. I'm really going to dig into them so you can identify yourself. By the time we're done the 3 days together, you can see along the bottom, everyday experience and expertise. In order to have a resume, your marketing that makes you showcases you as highly qualified, you want to customize each part of your marketing stack for that business type. And I have it all broken down. So on Wednesday, that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to tell you the type of brand you want for everyday experience and expertise. We're going to go through each one of these. Today, we're just going to focus on identifying and understanding the jobs the different types of businesses are going to do, because that's going to help you start to create business market fit. If you don't know what kind of business you are, you will end up falling into the trap of random acts of marketing. It happens. I have yet to see any business owner that I've worked with that didn't avoid the random acts of marketing trap. Part of it is that, unfortunately, we are a very lucrative market. There's a lot of money to be made by selling us courses and advice and contracting with us. Small businesses, we know we need marketing. I chose to go into marketing because I knew it was an industry I could progress in quickly because it was in demand. There's a lot of money to be made. So we are constantly being inundated with, oh, you need to do email, you need to do this, you need to do this, this worked for me, this made me 10K in 2 months. Like, we are constantly inundated with it. So we are picking up all kinds of pieces and trying them all. And that's getting us caught in the random acts of marketing trap. But you are being hired by your market, your industry, or your community for a very specific job. So if your marketing is talking in all these different directions, it's like if someone has a resume that's like, wow, so you've done a lot of different things, and I'm seeing a lot of different parts of you here, it might make them interesting as a person, but it will not raise your confidence in hiring them for the specific job that you know you need done in your life. I'm going to give you an example because it's a very clear way to see. Some of you know Katie. She's a bookkeeper. Absolutely love her. She's one of my really close friends. When we first started talking a couple of years ago, she asked me to do a digital or a marketing audit for her. So I went in, I went through her social media, and she was really active on Instagram and TikTok. She had hired somebody to help her. So that pyramid I talked about earlier, she had the skill level. The content was really good. I was really impressed with it. The contractor had gotten Katie in front of the camera. She was, she was talking directly to it, which I always love seeing. And I was super proud of Katie for that. It was well edited. It was well put together. It was pretty top level social media content. She'd been doing it for almost a year. And I think she was paying her about $1,200 a month. She hadn't gotten a single lead, not even a sale. She hadn't even gotten a single lead. And it was because this resume Katie was putting out was not the right fit for the job she wanted to be hired for. I'll go into it a little bit more as we go into this concept deeper. So we're going to go into each of these now. I really want you, even thinking about yourself as a consumer, and think about the way you hire people to do these specific jobs in your life, both work and personally. You are going to be doing the same type of thing. When you're hiring people and businesses, you're bringing them through the same type of qualification. And the way you see their marketing is determining whether you decide you want to hire them or not. So for everyday businesses, these tend to be your brick and mortar or in person, just by nature of the logistics of being an everyday business. It's things people need and use regularly. It needs to be there. It's part of you running your daily life. It's a staple for us or for them. Examples are going to be something like a coffee shop where people show up every day and grab their coffee, a plumber because you need your running water. That is a staple. A dog groomer, if you are somebody who's brings your dog to a groomer to have regular things done like their nails trimmed. And I want you to see that these are fluid. As the business owner, you could position your business. And usually there's at least two categories we have available to us. It's a choice we make. And when we make the choice with intention and we become clear, that crystallizes our messaging. So a dog groomer or a coffee shop could both position themselves as more of a discretionary, a luxury, a nice to have. It's their choice of where they're positioning themselves. And these examples, these are everyday, they're run of the mill, they're there to help people with things that they need and use regularly. When you are an everyday business, you are going to solve quick, essential needs. These are like the local bakery that you stop. I always use my deli bakery as an example. I literally buy all of my bread there. I am there at least 2 or 3 times a week. I know their bread baking schedule. I know when I need to stock up because my kids are going to go through it in an insane amount. But it is a quick, essential need. I am there consistently to buy my bread. You need to focus on reliability and ease. These are the type of qualifications you need to embody to be able to be a fit for this type of job for your community or your industry. And you're going to meet daily or repeatable problems. Every day is the concept, but it could be, every week, whatever it is. Experience-based businesses, where I know a lot of us tend to fall into. This can be online or brick and mortar. We can deliver yoga in person. We can deliver yoga online. We can deliver women's circles in person or online. Most of these tend to be, they can be hybrid. There's a lot of variation in here. Experience-based businesses are things that make life better, memorable, or meaningful. They're really a lot about self-actualization. It's about being able to move into a lifestyle that helps you feel like you're embodying your values is really the basis behind experience-based businesses. So these are consumer discretionaries. When the economy is tight, this is the first ones to go, which is why if this is where we are, our marketing is even more important, because marketing is what gives you the edge to be able to connect with the consumers that do have discretionary spending. Examples for this is going to be a yoga studio, a spa, a golf club. These are things people continue to invest in when they feel like they have the position to invest in them. So that's the other piece. If you are positioning yourself as an experience, you are positioning yourself as discretionary. So you are sending out the signal that, hey, I'm a nice to have. I'm going to help you feel more like who you want to be. But if you're currently worried about the fact that you don't have your basic needs met, I am not a fit for where you are. Really important as business owners, we understand what we're projecting into the market. For experience-based businesses, we're going to be focused on creating emotional, identity-driven value. We're going to be focused on building belonging and transformation. And we're going to market through story and resonance. It's going to be a lot about emotional storytelling. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how we market each one on Wednesday in the marketing stack. I'm really going to break it down for you. So Katie, when she was putting out her Instagram and her TikTok content, it was very experience-based. She was sharing her beliefs. There was some really great humor in there. It was about emotion. There was a little bit of storytelling. It was about identity and lifestyle. And it was really, really high quality of peak of the pyramid experience style content. But the problem is, Katie is a bookkeeper. Katie is an expertise style business. So her resume is going out to the market saying, oh, she's really cool. I really like this lady. I would love to hang out with her, but I'm looking to hire an expert. I need a bookkeeper. So she was not showing herself as a qualified candidate for the job she wanted to be hired for, even though she was a qualified candidate. This is what happens when our marketing doesn't match our business type. So for us expertise-based businesses, which again, we can pick and choose. If anyone who thinks about group programs, they're almost always experience primarily with an element of expertise. So we can actually look at our business model and choose how am I going to layer this, a little more advanced, but it means each one of your offers needs to be marketed in the way that's congruent with what the value you're offering and the job you're doing. If you are trying to get someone to hire you for high-end one-on-one coaching and you're only talking about the lifestyle and the vibes and the values, that's an experience-based message you're giving them. So it's hard for them to see you as an expertise style business. When we talk expertise style businesses, we're talking about specialized knowledge and skills that people cannot do themselves, or they do not want to learn how long it will take them to figure out how to do it themselves. Very big difference between the three and between the jobs we are applying for. Expertise style businesses are things like a consultant, a nutritionist, a lawyer. This one is another one that can easily be hybrid. You can do it online, you can do it in person, you can have a brick and mortar counseling business, or you can do it online. Lots of options with this one. It does not matter how we deliver, it matters that we're fitting our market fit. That's right, that's Jade. Yes, Jade. You're definitely, actually, Jade, you'll figure this out later. I have examples for each as we go forward. And my example for expertise is Clearview Consulting, and she's an optometrist consultant. How clever is that name? It was definitely based on you. So us expertise-based businesses, which is quite a few of us, we are here to solve complex, high-trust problems. We're here to build authority and specialization, and we're here to demonstrate proven results. If you're going to hire someone like Katie to be your bookkeeper, and she's giving experience style resume talking about values and lifestyle, you are not getting these from her, which is why, even though she has all of these, she knows how to, like, if you ever want to talk numbers, oh my God, my brain glazes over and I'm a pretty smart person. Katie starts getting into bookkeeping and I'm just like, I cannot keep track. She has it on such a deep level and she understands how it all works together. That comes across naturally when you talk to her, but it was nowhere on her social media. So people could not see her qualifications for that job they needed. They were looking for someone to hire for. It's one of the pieces when we're first building our business and we're out hustling in person, we naturally tend to bring the style of business we are just in conversation. We will intuitively land. If we are an expertise style business, we will start sharing our insights and our knowledge and our authority, and it will get built in that exchange unconsciously. If we're an experience-based business and we want to help people feel something and experience something, we will naturally talk in that language. Everyday-based businesses, we will show that, oh yeah, on Tuesdays we have, here are hours. We will naturally step into the role of qualifying ourselves. And that's one of the hiccups that we get when we start trying to want to use marketing, especially digital marketing or anything that's not directly sourced from us. First, we need to extract that and make it conscious so that we can put it out in our content, which is part of what we're going through today. You will probably start to recognize yourself in one of these. So those are our three types of businesses. These are the three types of jobs that your target market is out there hiring for. Just like you can probably think off at the top of your head one of these jobs that you have in your life sitting there in the back of your mind that you're waiting to find the right business to hire for. This is the other element of this. I talk about it a lot because we are not going to be competing on economy of scale. We're not going to be trying to compete as a commodity. We're not going to try to be the lowest price point. We're always going to need to make sure we are allowing conscious consumers to know about us and to recognize us. Because conscious consumers, which most of us most likely are on the call, we choose to invest our money and our resources with things that feel aligned and feel like a quality fit. We don't tend to get caught up as easily in like, let me buy this random thing. I bought a random cat thing online the other day and it was so silly. I was so mad at myself. My cats didn't even play with it and it looked genius. And no, they just like couldn't even be bothered. But for the most part, we are going to be picky and selective, and so is our target audience. Because people who like to work with small scale and independent, they're conscious consumers, which means they need to see from us this resume. They will be surveying and taking in options. And it's when they see a really strong resume slide across their social media or into their inbox that they go, oh my gosh, I have been waiting to find the right person for this. This person is showing me everything that I have been looking for to help solve this problem. This looks like the type of person I want to hire for this job I have had waiting in my life to get done. This is why it's so important for us to be able to identify which type of business we are and commit to that positioning. Our businesses are very fluid, and this is one of the hardest parts psychologically as business models or as business owners is that we see the potential application across a millionfold spaces. It's there, it's genuinely there. It's one of the beautiful things about the parts that we create, the products or services we create. If we are serious about making this into a business so that we can have stability and income and impact, we need to now shift and say, okay, that's great, but I need to focus if I want to create something out of this. I need to decide which specific problem or problems, we can tackle a couple at a time, am I going to solve? Which type of job am I going to apply to my market for? Because essentially, every interaction we have, every successful transaction is a job we have been hired for. So just like we need to write our resume, and ideally, there's a lot of AI stuff going on with resumes right now, but ideally, when we're applying for a job, we get to know the company and we customize our resume for them. That is the same thing we want to do with our marketing. Because our businesses, they're alive organisms. Businesses are always going to grow and expand. We're going to grow and expand as entrepreneurs. Our market, where we're going to market to, is going to grow and expand. We always have room to move as we're evolving. We can always open up another type of offer that is an expertise offer. We can do that. But in order to get a cash flow going, we need to start with a focus and clarity. It does not box us in. This is one of the things we absolutely hate as entrepreneurs, is to be boxed in. Do not put baby in a corner. We don't want to be told we only get to do this. So I'm telling you now, these are always open to you. But the game that we're in is in creating focus so that we can apply for a job and get consistently hired so that we can build our cash flow. And then when our business has that resource of cash flow, we can expand and we can develop and we can continue to play and continue to create and continue to serve different types of jobs and to solve different types of problems. So you're definitely not locked in, but this will be what solves that failure rate of 42% not succeeding because of a lack of market fit. This is the process that too many of us are shying away from because it's really hard to step out of being a creator of something and wanting to give impact and it then needing to step in and put on a CMO hat and say, if I'm going to bring this to the market, I need to be clear and I need to be focused. So, like I've been saying, marketing is your business's resume. That's legitimately what it is. It shows them what you're qualified for. It gives a sense of your personality. It gives a sense of whether you are going to be the right person to do the job in your community or your industry's life. If you market yourself for the wrong job, the right customers won't recognize you, no matter how qualified you are. And this was the problem Katie got trapped in, is that she paid, I think, over $12,000 at the end for all of that marketing. Really great marketing. She didn't get a single lead out of it. Not a single lead. And it's not because the marketing wasn't good, which is what we're going to go into tomorrow. The skill set was really great, but the strategy was all wrong for the kind of business she is. Now she's reoriented her brand. She talks about her business differently. She actually has not been actively marketing on social media, but she's had a huge injection of leads because the way she's talking about her business has significantly changed. She's more congruent. Congruency is a really important piece of business. When we have inner congruence, it draws people towards us. Trust is always a piece that we need to have. So understanding what kind of business you are and being willing to commit to claiming that market position and to sending out resumes in your marketing as that kind of business is what's going to help you really build that rapport with the market so that you can have opportunities to have A, sales, which we all love, and B, the gold of the feedback and the relationship that allows you to build even stronger products and even stronger services. We're going to go briefly into what it looks like to market each. Wednesday, come with I'll always send the replay out, but Wednesday, I'm going to go really deep into each of these. It's what I really love about marketing. You can systemize it. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. Most marketers, professional marketers won't tell you, but we all have a giant document with all the models and frameworks, and we just go in and figure out where are we right now. And I'm going to give you models and frameworks for our style businesses. But in an overview, when we're talking about everyday businesses, which tend to be brick and mortar, we're selling consumer staples, something they use and need regularly. The question your market is asking is, can you help me get what I need and when I need it? So what our marketing needs to do, what it needs to say to them is, yes, I am reliable and I am consistent. That is the most important qualification that needs to go out in your resume or your marketing for an everyday style business. For an experience style business, your market is going to be asking, can you help me live the life I want to live? We choose experiences and discretionary purchases based on it feeling like this makes me feel more like who I want to be. It's a much different need and a much different job than an everyday style business. So your marketing needs to tell them, I understand your feelings and your values. It is really important that they see themselves reflected in your marketing and they see that you embody the type of experience and lifestyle they're looking to have. This is where what we think as stereotypical Instagram influencer lifestyle marketing, this is a fit for experience-based businesses because what the job they're actually hiring us for is leading them into an experience or a product or a service that makes them that type of person. It's a really, really big component of this. As soon as we talk online marketing, we almost always try to veer in this direction like Katie did, but it doesn't mean it's a fit for your business. It is important if you are selling experience-based businesses. Expertise-based businesses, your market is asking, can you help me fix or improve something? This is, I have a specific problem or I have a specific goal that I want to get to and I cannot do it on my own. Can you help me do it? Your marketing then needs to tell them, yes, I am knowledgeable, competent, and trustworthy. So depending on the style of business you are, your marketing needs to be, I don't want to say selling yourself, but qualifying your business in very different ways. There's nuances to it. I'm going to break it all down on Wednesday, but in general, it's easy to start to see where you are maybe missing pieces. And I'm going to drop the link soon. I've made a custom GPT that we can use during the training. You could go in and play with. For today, it will help you either answer some questions to figure out which type of business you are, or if you feel like you know which type of business you are, you can skip over it, and it will then ask you some questions to see how well your marketing is fitting your type of business. And Jade, I did it myself the other day, and I was so mad because I got 65%. And I'm like, excuse me? And then I sat with it. I'm like, no, you know what? You're right. You're right, because I have been so deep in product development. I have not been putting out the pieces that I should be putting out for my expertise style business. I'm like, okay, well, it's good to know the frameworks work, but like, dang it. But it's nice to see that there are very specific markers that, so like you can see, I'm knowledgeable, competent, and trustworthy. These are not things you tell people. You do not go on LinkedIn and say, hi guys, hire me because I'm knowledgeable, competent, and trustworthy. That's the quickest way to get like one view on your post. You embody them and show them. So this is when your marketing embodies and shows knowledgeable, competent, and trustworthy. That's when your marketing is the best qualifying resume. And that's when the leads and the sales come flowing through using your marketing. One of the problems that we have with marketing when we first try to lean into it is we see it just as promotion. And we're like, if I just get the message out there and I consistently put it out there and I just like, I'm just going to post every day and that's going to make it work. It's the messaging that matters. If you are putting something out there that is a very bad resume, you will get no response. And that's actually why the algorithm limits your views. If anybody who has a gripe with organic social media, I'll tell you now, it is the content, it is not the reach. I just put out a book, a picture of a book and a little reflection. It's now at like 70 responses or 70 engagements on LinkedIn. And I'm like, this is a book. Like, this is not a complex, high produced type of content, but because it leaned into knowledgeable expertise, it was going deep into the topic, it resonated and it got, the reach is probably about 1,000 now. It's really, really big reach. It's doable when we come at it from this perspective, when we're not just focusing on the top of that pyramid, which we're going to get into tomorrow, and we're not just, I need to put something out there. When we slow down and we make sure what we put out there is really strategic and really resonates, and I know, Jade, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, that's when the results come. It's not quantity, it is definitely quality. And then if you up the quantity, you get more results. So when you understand the problem you do, or the job you do, and the problem you solve, that is what makes it possible for us to build marketing that's going to be effective. We need to put on our CMO hat. Unfortunately, we're in a position with the way we are building our businesses. We have a lot of strengths in that we have a close, authentic connection to the people we want to serve. We really, really value our products and services. There's a lot of intentionality and integrity behind what we do. The reality is we're also resource strapped. We don't have a huge team. We don't have a huge budget. So we need to work smarter, not harder, especially with our marketing. I have so many stories of business owners I have worked with who have gotten, either they've scraped together their own budget to invest like Katie did, or they've gotten grants and they've invested into marketing and they get literally no results out of it. We cannot afford that. It will put us behind, and we cannot afford to be behind. We need this type of marketing that we spend a bit of time starting to really understand what makes marketing work. And then we need to lock in and focus on that and put our energy and our time behind that, because that's what's going to give us the results we need to be able to either validate our product or service or stabilize our business. So I can see there's a bunch of stuff in the chat. For those of you who have not been exposed to my everyday experience and expertise-based businesses, if you can try and decide which kind of business you are, it's okay if your brain's like, well, I'm kind of doing this, and I'm kind of doing this, and I'm also kind of doing this. That's self-knowledge for you to recognize and be like, oh, I'm trying to dip my toe in all of the waters. And I like to use the concept of marketing units. We only have so many units of marketing productivity to put out. Even me as a marketer, I'm at 65% of effectiveness for my own marketing because I only have so many units of marketing to put out. So do all of us. If we have 10 units that we can put out a week and we are spreading them between 3 different categories, we are going to be putting out much weaker signals into each of those type of potential jobs we could be brought in for than if we double down and put 10 units into one. This is the reality of being small scale businesses, is that they have a million marketing units to put out if they're an organization or a corporation. We don't have that. Each one of our units is weighed heavier for conscious consumers because they want to work with people like us. They are looking for people like us. But if we only have 10 units, because the reality is we've got lives, we're delivering the business, we're developing the business, we're hopefully doing our bookkeeping and our admin, that's all we have to put out. So we want to make them as punchy as possible. And the more we focus them in one direction, the more impact, and by impact, I mean income, they will have for us. So when you're able to sit with this concept and decide what kind of business you're first going to establish yourself as, or you're going to rein it in and focus as, so you can allocate as many of your marketing units there, you'll reach a point in that business development where it's systemized and it's stabilized. Then you can go and develop other pieces of your business. You're never locked into just one. We have the agency to be as creative as we want. We just need to balance it with the realistic truth that if we also want income, that creative energy needs to be wrangled in and boundaried in and needs to be told when it's time to do that and when it's time to get focused and directive and systemized. Marta, you would like this because it's very much a masculine, feminine type of energy balance. So today's takeaways: you aren't selling a product, you are solving a problem. You built your product, you built your solution, you built your service, but if you want to market it, you need to be solving a problem with the product or service. Your market is going to hire you to do a job. They're not purchasing your product or your service. They are hiring you into their lives. They are investing in you. They're trading one of their resources, usually multiple resources of time, money, focus, to be able to take care of a job that's in their lives. And it's going to be one of three jobs: an everyday type of job, an experience type of job, or an expertise type of job. And when you align your marketing with your business type, that's when you get effective marketing, which is what we need. It's one of the reasons why we struggle so much and why we tend to hate marketing. It's one of the most common things I hate. I get people say to me, I hate marketing. I'm like, trust me, it can be fun and it can be good. We don't have to hate it, I promise. But when we slow down and we look at it from this way, we really start to move forward in that really big hurdle of a lack of product market fit. Because product market fit is going to be another layer to it, but this layer will be business market fit. So your business will be in congruence with one part of that market, one part of the hiring process. And that will give you the opportunity not just to bring in more leads, but always take in the feedback, always listen, because the better and stronger your product market fit is, the more money you're going to make, the stronger your business is going to be, the less you're going to have to hustle. So that's always our goal, is that product market fit. And it starts with this, which is the business market fit. So that is our session for today. Tomorrow, we're going to go into how market confidence is built. This is my fun little framework, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to talk about how sales aren't going to build your business. I know it's what we want. And a single mom of three, completely get it when you're like, I don't need systems, I need sales. Like, don't talk to me about systems. That's fine. But we want to recognize, if we are choosing an identity and a journey of being a business owner or an entrepreneur, we are choosing to be a systems builder. We are not just choosing to be a salesperson, which I actually know most of us hate the sales process. We're like, please don't make me sell myself. Tell you something, really good marketing alleviates a lot of that. I also do not like selling. I like marketing, not selling. So we're going to talk about systems, including marketing systems that help to do a lot of the selling for us. And we're going to help shift some of that concept of what it is to be a business owner versus a jobbyist. And I'm going to drop my custom GPT for anybody who likes to play with AI. I'm going to drop it here in the chat when I get it open. There we go. That should be the link. Yeah. So you guys can play with that. It'll have one prompt at the beginning that says, help me find my business market fit. You can go into that, and then you can either go through some questions that will help you kind of evaluate which one, or you can skip over it until you know which one you are. And then take the little assessment where it's going to ask you how well your marketing is doing. And don't be mad at me if it tells you you're not doing so great. Because after the next couple of days, we're going to really talk about how we get to the point where our marketing is doing better. Okay, we got a couple of minutes. That took me longer than I was expecting. If anybody has any questions, we can do some questions. Aw, thank you, Marta. I'm glad you're here. I always see the people, I'm like, ooh, I want to help them. Okay. Any question? You guys are so sweet. I can't believe you're here on a Monday morning with me. Yeah, I knew there would be people who would see it, have seen it before, and we have to see things over and over and over again for it to really sink in, and you'll walk away with different levels of insight and different places we can graft it onto our current understanding.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. I'll stop talking.
So, no, my gosh, please don't. But so I'm noticing that I have been kind of fitting myself into all three because I thought to myself, well, we all need energy and emotional healing every single day. And it's beautiful. The experience itself isn't always fun, but it leads to beautiful experiences. But I guess where my biggest block was to position myself as an expert. But that's like I think some of my own subconscious blocks because I know I'm young and I look even younger than I am, and so that really puts a lot of people off thinking like, do you really know what you're doing? Like, sit down, little girl. It's kind of what I feel,
Yep.
so I need to work through that for sure. But how would you suggest that someone markets themselves as an expert, for example, with a title as taboo as intuitive energy healer?
Well, in the right market, that is not a taboo title, right? Like
Mm.
the market you're looking, and this is a conversation I was always wanting to have with you. You get to decide who do you want to work with. You and I both know that what you're offering could potentially be even more impactful on people who would sense it as taboo, just because the gap they have to jump over. And then you get to play the game of who do I want to work with? And
Mhm.
how do I reach them? That's the
Right.
bridge, right? So your bridge is intuitive energy healing. We don't need to sell the bridge. You sell the result. You sell them what it is to have whatever job you know you can apply that bridge to solved. So it's really going to be a personal conversation for yourself. And Marta, I went through a very similar process. Same thing with me. My energy is very high, it's very bubbly. I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. So I had that same block against like, do I really unleash my full cognitive power here? Like,
Yeah.
and anyone who's had conversations with me know that's been a hesitation of mine. But the beautiful thing is that you do not need 200,000 people to opt in. You need
Mhm.
like probably 20 people. So,
Right.
with the beauty of the online marketing, you can choose what feels congruent for you. And as long as you get focused and congruent, most likely you are going to be able to connect with at least 20. It does,
Okay.
you don't need to be able to be mass appealing. It's more going to be about you getting focus on what do I want with my business. So for me, I knew I needed to serve small business owners. It's where I have the impact of local consumerism. Think about your long-term impact. One of the venues I need to now move into is organizational, which my personality, you can see just from the way I deliver my training. It's like, oh my goodness. My personality is going to be pretty counter to the cultural norms of organizations. As a
Mhm.
marketer, I take that into account. I don't dismiss it. This is not, well, I'm me and you have to accept me. That's not my approach. I understand there's certain psychological points that I will be activating or I will be triggering, and I decide consciously which one of these am I willing to have to work against and which one of these am I willing to adjust so that I can slide in smoother and I can have my pathway ahead of me to be able to work with more business owners more easily activated. So I have certain markers that I bring in that indicate I am a thought leader. I am highly structured. I put those front and center. Maybe I keep some of the bubbly personality away until I'm in a one-to-one. So really it's a question for you. What is your long-term goal? This is a conversation you and I should have. If in 20 years this went exactly how you wanted it to go, what would you have accomplished? And then reverse engineering your way into that goal.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
It's a fun thing once you get going, I promise.
Oh my gosh, I'm already obsessed. This is great.
Love it. Okay. Any other questions? We're right at 10. Okay, I will shut us down. Replays will be sent out. Play on the GPT if your brain wants to go further into it. I'll send out the replay later today, and then I will see you guys tomorrow for those who's showing up. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.